I want to start with a quote. Quote, from a military perspective, the focus really needs to be tightly on the Pacific, especially the first island chain in Taiwan. Does that ring a bell?
Rings a bell, sir.
That was you. Quote, some believe that Washington can conduct a major military effort in the Middle East and maintain its advantage in Asia. That's a self-comforting delusion, quote. Does that ring a bell?
I defer to you, sir. Where is source?
That was you, Mr. Colby. Quote, does the USA want to be the policeman of the Middle East, getting nothing but spending precious lives and trillions of dollars? Do we want to be there forever? Does that ring a bell?
I defer to you on the sourcing, sir.
That was actually President Trump in his first term. How about this one? Quote, we simply cannot afford to get enmeshed in a large Middle East war. That one?
I defer to you, sir.
That was actually you, Mr. Colby. One more time, quote, our interest, I think, very much is in not going to war with Iran. It would be a huge distraction of resources. It would be massively expensive to our country. That one?
Defer to you, sir.
That's the Vice President, Mr. Vance, in October of 2024. Last one. Quote, an intervention would not only cost American lives, but also consume vast munitions and equipment and distract American readiness from Asia, harming U.S. capacity to deter China. That one?
Defer to you on sourcing, sir.
And I'm not trying to play gotcha. I'm trying to understand a massive inconsistency in what you've said and others in the administration. That was actually from a piece that you wrote. I'll put the title up just to help recall. I think it's pretty straightforward. And I remember reading it and largely agreeing with it at the time. The subhead of the piece, the title, Don't Let Iran Distract from China. The subhead, Beijing's bid to dominate Asia is a far greater threat than anything Tehran can do in the Middle East. Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to enter this article from the Wall Street Journal, by the way, into the record.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Colby, my question is, do you still believe this?
Excuse me. Sir, I don't think we are going to be distracted. We're very conscious of this, the strategy and the efforts of the department, including the 1.5
not the
trillion
distraction piece. I mean, you're very clear that it's a mistake, that there's a far greater threat.
Sir, I don't think the current operations are a mistake. I think we are scoping the military objectives in light of the overall strategy under the President's direction. They are reasonable and attainable military objectives.
In the interest of time, I think any reasonable observer would say there's a massive inconsistency in what you've said for years and frankly dedicate a lot of your personal career to before this position versus what you're doing now. So the question is, were you wrong then or are you wrong now?
I don't agree with your characterization, sir.
That's fine. And to bring it to the present moment, as many of my colleagues have quoted, the National Defense Strategy, which you wrote, or helped lead anyway, which was signed by the Secretary of Defense, which was approved by the President, begins with a line that, for good reason, has been repeated many times today, and I'll repeat it again on the record. No longer will the Department be distracted by interventionism, endless wars, regime change, and nation building. In case that wasn't crystal clear, in October 2024, then candidate Trump said, quote, you're not going to have a war with me. In case that wasn't clear, in his victory speech on election night, he said, quote, I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. My constituents, the American people, everybody watching this, how could we consider that anything but just a straight-up betrayal of promises made and a lack of any strategic coherence? I frankly think, and I don't use this word lightly, I think you are lying to the American people about it. I think the Vice President has lied about it. The President is lying about it. And to bring it into stark relief is these 6 brave patriots that we lost. And don't you think we at least owe them and their tremendous sacrifice, which our nation is grateful for, just being honest? And you came in here and 3 or 4 times, at least when I was in the room, going out of your way to say, I'm a loyal lieutenant to the President. And I know you're exhausted because I don't think you actually agree with a lot of what he's doing. So I'm going to give you a chance to at least say that.
Well, fully reject your characterization, sir, and I am being honest. And I think this is this administration is going to be prepared for peace through strength, and that's what the president's talked about.
Gentleman's
Has
time's
delivered
expired.
peace.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better, start a monthly contribution today.